Hello and welcome to the Gamer Corner, episode 2. We're going to be talking Fire Emblem Fates, which just came out. It's February 19th was its release date. And then we're also going to touch on Dark Souls 3 and Monster Hunter Cross. So let me get into it real quick with Fire Emblem. If you've never played it, I did mention it a little bit in my review of XCOM. It's a strategy game, basically similar sort of concept where you have your troops moving them around, battling, except for it's going to be medieval sorcerer, sword and sorcery stuff. It was pretty well received. I think the IGN review was 9.5. The personal review I got from this game is, and I'm quoting Timothy Dries here, "Fuck this game. This game is impossible." So that gives you an idea of where to start. It's going to be difficulty level similar to what XCOM 2 is given. I think it's a little bit, the difficulty is a little different in ways because XCOM, every battle kind of leads to sort of like the long haul, and you could win every battle but still lose the game. The main character, the avatar, is Corrin. Basically, a synopsis is dragon clan or dragon people riding dragons, wyvern riders, take over, and you gotta stop them. I watched a playthrough of, I think it was on the GameCube, Fire Emblem, and a little bit of this Fire Emblem. It looks tough. The mission I specifically watched, he was basically, there was a big army of guys, and they changed archers, so now that they can counterattack, and basically he was just getting rolled. They would just steamroll right into him. He had like 1 or 2 turns to set everything up before everybody just knocked his guys out. And he just could not separate his troops right to attack from behind, but keep the rest of his army from dying. So if you're into strategy, you're top down, move your guys, square based, and turn attacks, it's definitely your kind of thing. That's where I would go with that one. Now, touching on Dark Souls 3 and Monster Hunter Cross, both these games are coming out. Technically, Monster Hunter Cross was released in Japan already, just like Fire Emblem was. The February 19th was the American release date. Monster Hunter does not currently have a release date. It's just supposed to be 2016 at some point. Dark Souls 3 is March 24th, 2016. And the reason I kind of wanted to combo these two together is I feel these two games, like I hear from people who just played Dark Souls, they talk about it like it's never been done before, like everything in the game. But what always comes to mind is Monster Hunter. The games are similar but have different appeals, and I kind of wanted people to see how close they are. So if you're a fan of either Dark Souls or Monster Hunter, I really think you should check out the other one just to get another game with a similar sort of play style behind it, so you have more stuff to do. Monster Hunter, you're basically just fighting giant monsters. Same with Dark Souls. It's fighting giant monsters. You're knight with, or I guess Monster Hunter, there's bows, bow guns, all sorts of stuff. Dark Souls, same sort of idea. The big thing with Monster Hunter, there are a few new monsters. The Tamisu, I don't know, he's a soap monster. I saw the little pre-play thing, and every time he swishes around, there's a bunch of bubbles, and it looks like you can slip around on him. I love this monster. He's my favorite new monster I've seen. He looks amazing, just a Mr. Clean. They're also bringing back the Lagiacrus, the Ankitor, the Uragon, and the Durambros. I think there's a bunch other that they're bringing back, but these were the big ones that I remember from Monster Hunter 3, because that's where I started, was Monster Hunter 3. I'm not like a OG Monster Hunter player or anything, but those are some of my favorites, and I'm glad to see they're coming back. That's one thing I really like about the Monster Hunter series. They take some monsters out to put new stuff in, but then they bring some classics back, just changing them up, how they play and whatnot. Both games actually introduce something, that fighting styles. So whether you're using a great sword or a bow, there will be multiple styles, basically stances, whatever you want to call them, that you can be in, and will change how your weapon is wielded, which I think is another point towards how these games are similar. They're both kind of going for this styles thing. Big thing with Dark Souls 3, other than the fighting styles, is they're also reworking the multiplayer system to be more like Bloodborne. And from what I understand, it's maybe even better, but they're also adding, and I'm not sure if this is in Bloodborne or not, but there's a password system, so only your friends can, like, basically you set a password, so when people invite you to join and help them on, like, fight certain bosses, it won't just be random people. You can set it so only your friends can summon you, so the multiplayer will be a little bit more workable, which I think was the big problem in the first Dark Souls, is if you want to play with your friend, you're going to spend 2 hours trying to get in the same game with them, which I think is the biggest difference between Monster Hunter and Dark Souls. Is Dark Souls is a little more PvP, whereas Monster Hunter doesn't really have any of that, but Monster Hunter is more of your LAN game. You know, you sit around with all your friends. We always make food or whatever before we get crazy into hunting, and we make a little event out of it, make a date. So if you're totally about the monster killing but want a little bit more multiplayer action, you know, with your friends, I think Monster Hunter's maybe a little more your speed, whereas if you're more about the player killing and people joining your game and just ruining your fucking week, Dark Souls is probably more your speed. Well, that looks like the end of Gamer Corner number 2. I'll see you guys next week in the Gamer Corner.